What's up, guys? What's happening? What's been going on? You guys happy for the Satoshi Day that we're in? Happy Satoshi Day. It's very true. What's been happening, guys? So I'll post this up now. Essentially, Breaking Free's gone live, and I'll post it up. I'll put it up. 1 second. What's up, guys? What's happening, lads? So 1 second, I'll just be sure to post in a minute. What's this 1 year sober? 1 year. Fuck, that's really good, man. Congratulations. 1 year is nice. Do you ever find that you hit an abyss though when you get sober for a certain period and you kind of there's a point of no return? I find that you get to a certain period where for the first month, 2 months, 3 months, it's nice, and then you kind of hit a point where you're not getting any more upside to be entirely sober. But of course, you know your own body. There's certain things that if you to have certain vices, you can never go back to. That's it. Like the devil tempts you with certain things, and you know that if you to go back to them, that it's going to be the end of you. That's generally what can happen. You know that there's just certain things that you should never do, and if you're to do them, it will ruin you. Like a gambler who has parents that are gambling addicts, and then essentially he's like, I just gamble because it's nice to touch the stove a few times, and then before you know it, you're actually like you dip your feet in enough times and you fall in the river. That's the truth. That's the thing. Yeah, it's true. Of course, like the strange thing about life is the most changes that matter. No one supports you. And then you wait and sit at the end and you think that but then you realize the lesson along the way is that it's no one needs to. Like that's the story. No one, like, also it's freeing when you realize not many people care about you like as much as you would think, nor should they have to. They don't. People are too busy. The way that society and the world is set up is that they're too distracted. Like you wait and you think, but also I believe it's a conviction test. It's like a faith test. When you're often doing the right thing, there's no reward, specifically in the beginning, and then later on there's a big payoff. But you have to, so a faith idea is that you move in a direction that there's seemingly no return, and you move away from an idea that's fun. It's fun to be wasted, it's fun to be high, it's fun to fucking whores all the time, and I'm wasted, I'm doing this, and it's cool, right? I'm hiding from my responsibilities of the world, and it feels great. And then when you go, I want to get rid of that, you're like, but I'm like the king of this section, I'm the king in this section. Like, why would I give away so much fun? Why would I give away something that I've kind of mastered? And then you have a period where it's like the sunken cost. You feel like I got good in it. I got good at all of this shit. I'm the king of benders. I'm the king of after parties. I know all of this shit. I enjoy it. I don't want to waste all of the equity that I've built. I know 500 people. And then the 500 people that 480 of them are the ones that essentially are to drag you down. And again, it's not to say that you're better than them or that they're shit or that they're all of these things. But again, you'll be tested as much as your faith is to decide on. You best bet that if you're to make it through all of these tests, that there's an equal opposite outcome that's going to be much more enjoyable than the one that you just left. Often life is discovered by doing the things that are, the best discoveries can be the things that almost kill you. Bendering can kill you. Like the amount of people that I've known who were in the party scenes that are dead now, I've lost count. Either dead or in jail or fucked up. I know so many people that are crazy because they went from essentially we were doing coke together and they ended up being on like shard or ice or taking mephedrone in Euro, and it fucks them up. Obviously, it's quite a synthetic, right? It's a different process. But yeah, I know so many people that have cooked themselves from drugs that it's just you can't even speak to them anymore. They're fucked. And I know so many people in prison. I know so many people that are dead from that. I've seen people that have taken drugs and died during the process. It's easy to overdose now because there's a lot of synthetics. Even if you get a good source and you have good things and you don't know, they could lace it with something or they might have fucked it up. Sometimes the dealer himself might be using fentanyl and he doesn't. He cross-contaminates by mistake. And then you get halfway through a bag and have one line and that line has fentanyl in it. It's finished. Unless you have Narcan on you, it's game over for you. By the time anyone knows that you're sick, you can't get resuscitated. It's the end. You're going to die there. And what a way to die in some kitchen or some toilet. So that's a big part of why I essentially slow down on that a lot now. And I realize that I can't teach guys and be a cokehead as much as I enjoy it. So time for time, I can't be a hypocrite. I can't do it. I went into the abyss, essentially the Plato's cave, to get out of it and then teach other people to get out of it. I can't be in there telling you guys how to get out, but I'm readily in there. I can't be doing that because it doesn't feel good. It's not who I am. But again, that's been my own solution for why I don't do it. I think that if I didn't run my men's group, I would be a cokehead because I can be. I already have all of that stuff. I know how to do all of that stuff very well. And I would still do it like very often. So this group itself has been the change. Essentially, you become the change that you want to see in the world. You can't be a hypocrite. The same reason I have my daughter. I can't stand on here and say that red pill ideas are good for people because I have a daughter now. I'd be hypocritical. I can't say that if I'm to be, I don't know, tormenting or upsetting or pump and dumping someone else's daughter, it hits me now because I don't want that to happen to me with my daughter. So how can I run around and facilitate this sort of a problem? If it's the same story, if there's rubbish on the ground and I'm like, oh, this place is a dump, but then I throw my own shit everywhere, and then I'm like, but I'm adding to the mess. And then I tell you guys not to litter. It's the same idea. It's just a hypocritical style. Like I just can't do that. By helping guys in my TCM and breaking free and these other products, I realized that I have to be the change as well. I can't teach guys I can't teach guys things that I myself don't live. Because it shines, trust me, when you're a coach, it shines all of the light on your own shortcomings. It's very apparent. The shit that you yourself need to work on, because you see mirrors of yourself in others. They might be stuck in a similar, like they might be stuck in step 2 or 3, and maybe you're also stuck on step 10, but you're still stuck on the process. Like it's not that different. And then you realize the things that they hide from and the layers and things that they're putting over themselves and the masks that they wear, you've also worn them from time to time, and essentially but it makes it easier that you can really relate to the shit that they're going through. I can relate to all of the addictions and the distractions and, being able to be stuck in hedonism or, wanting to pump and dump girls or being hurt by girls or being bad with girls. And then you fantasize about getting good with them. And then essentially you're the one that's going to be the one in demand and they can come to you. And then you can get ideas where you're like, and then I can be the one that's got the power and all of these power games and shit like that, which ends nowhere. Like games don't work. Games just hide. Again, you'll bump into yourself a million times throughout your life in different disguises. It's true. That's very true. You'll bump into yourself in a million times over in a different disguise, the disguises that we wear through life. How many times you look in the mirror and it fucking is set times a year or 2 or 3 years later and you're like, I'm not this person that I thought that I wanted to be, or the one that I am. It's not who I am. I'm not. And then if you don't have those conclusions, I mean, I don't know what you're to be progressing in life. If you don't have like at least every maybe 5 or 10 years, you're like, I'm not who I thought I was, and I'm not who I wanted to become. That's normal. Like, again, that's a process similar to an ego death. It doesn't necessarily mean that you yourself have died. It's just that the systems and things that you were using, you've outgrown. Doesn't mean that you're better than that or all of that, but you need to outgrow certain things in life. I'm a 35 or 40-year-old playboy. Those ideas, you got to go. Like those are really, they're teenagers' ideas. You got to get rid of them. You got to grow up. I'm not the change I want to see in the world. I'm making people smaller. I was made to feel small, and then I got strong, and now I can bully other people. It's not the way that the world's meant to go. You're meant to help others. The strong are meant to help the weak, not monopolize them and essentially put them in a position where I'm just going to use them. There's a difference between being weak and, being a gamma male or being a fuckwit. But there's also a position of I'm, a junior and how am I going to learn the senior? Because if you're a senior now, you're incentivized not to train anyone. Like, because then I have competition. It's easier for me to just not teach you anything that works and just monopolize all the power and keep it to myself. Because you might get the girls that I want, or you might make money that I want, or you might do all of these things that I myself would want. You're going to get stronger, and then eventually you're going to learn things that you don't need me anymore. So you guys in the group, like in here, one day you won't need me, and that's fine. That's normal. That's the curse of the teacher. Like when you actually teach people, eventually they're going to wake up. It's like you have your kid, and then you're teaching them to ride a bike, and you're guiding them along the way while they're learning the training wheels and all of the shit. But eventually they're not going to need you. and they could pedal on around the corner and they may never come back. And that's the way that life is. Like everything that you love, if you're really doing it for the right reason, you're teaching them that they don't need you anymore. You're not teaching them little games and bullshit so that they just come back to you with a scun up knee. You're not teaching your kids and scaring them and being like, don't ride around the corner because, you know, the boogeyman is around the corner. So you're always going to need me and all, because that's all bullshit. That's what people do. Don't hit on women or don't fall in love because you're going to get hurt, or, you know, the boogeyman's around the corner. So, you know, don't do this. It's the same story of, imagine that you're in a nuclear bomb shelter and you have your whole family in there, or you have a bunch of girls and you have a bunch of shit, and you tell them that if you're to step outside, they'll be vaporized. That there's actually, like, you know, there's a big threat out there. And you're the only one who knows. So they need to really abide by you. And you know, you're very controlling, and you're kind of like a Stockholm syndrome setup. But you're actually the problem. Like you're their biggest enemy. You're the one that's running all of the shit that's destroying. You're not teaching people to leak, but also you're not teaching them because you think that they'll leave you. And again, that's a fear of loss. Everyone by definition will outgrow you. Like Bruce Lee had trainers and things where eventually he's like, I can kick the fuck out of everyone that's trained me ever. And that's fine. Because some people and students and things that you have, they're going to be better than you, and that's fine. The boxing coach doesn't shit his pants every time he gets someone who's better, and they're like, because a good coach is like, if this guy's a better coach for you, then go train with him. I don't care. Like if I'm teaching someone or they're in a group and they have a beans to go to a better group, I don't give a shit. Go to the better group. I want what's best for you. You don't owe me nothing, as I don't owe you shit unless you paid me. And then essentially I teach you that eventually you'll outgrow me. If you want to stick around, you can. And if you don't, it's up to you. It's your life. But that's the stuff that sticks. Because if you have your own kids, when you eventually do, you can teach them. You can't, if I teach you to be under me and, you know, you're waiting for me to move to tell you what to do, when you have your kids, you're going to be like, I don't really know what to do. You're not learning actually like the inner work. You're not learning the processes internally. You're learning games and tricks, lines and fucking crap. Do this or do that. None of that stuff works. You can't be me, as I can't be you. And if I try to be you, I'll be a very shit version of you. You can only be the best version of you, as cringy as it sounds. See, there's guys that do like that Warhammer, or they do like Lego, or they play games, and they really think that women think that stuff is lame because they think that deep down they're ashamed of themselves, and they don't realize that there's a fucking, like, there's a lid for every pot. My mom used to say that, and it's very true. Like some shit that you yourself think is lame, some people don't think that it's lame. It's just you that thinks that. Like some people think, oh, I'm doing a nerdy fucking hobby. I need to do shit that I don't like so that other people will like me. And that's, none of that shit is true, because you'll do it and it's not who you are. And it never will be. It doesn't matter if you get good at that. You're going to feel like you're betraying yourself. You're not meant for that. Some guys like play guitar or some other shit and they think that it means they're gay and they need to run around and become a boxer. And it's okay to be physical and okay to be able to defend yourself and all of these things, but you should do what's in your soul. Like everyone is here for a different reason. And it's not for you to say that the reason of another is lame, because it's not, specifically if it's not hurting anyone. Like gaming is not lame. Like some people think that, oh, my girl knows that I'm, you know, I like to play fucking, I don't know, Fallout. It means that like I'm cocked for some reason. And a lot of girls, when they're younger, especially, they like games. It means you have to have it all, though, of course. You're not just sitting there fucking with pizza crust sitting on your chest and just fucking clean Xbox on the floor and fucking lotion and then bringing a chicken and the place is just a dump. And it's like you've been fucking living on the chair for the last 3 weeks. That's different. You need everything, right? You can't be a fucking giant toad. But that's just the way that it goes with life, right? You got to still have that level of self-respect. Being fat isn't the worst, also. Like, of course, being fat isn't the worst place to start from, because similar to like addictions and things like that, if you have an addiction to food, it's like an addiction to everything. Like you can have fucking, someone's got like, I don't know, drug addiction. Someone might have a problem with weed. Someone might have a problem with porn. You might have a problem that you're a fat fuck, but being fat is at least visual. Like a fat guy can look in the mirror and be like, I need to lose weight and see it. A cokehead or a weed fucking person or a person who's addicted to porn, you can't see their problem. You can't really tell. A lot of the time, gambling, you can't tell at all. A guy can take a shit and lose fucking 10 grand in like 5 minutes. And then you can't see any symptoms, but inside he wants to die. but he has no symptoms. So it's very hard to help that person because with being fat, you're like, oh, well, I lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, and I'm back. It's gone. The fat's gone. It's a good. But addictions, like actual different addictions, they stick with you a long time. It's very hard to stop gambling. Gambling is, I've found, probably the worst addiction that you could ever have. And I've had fucking many, I would know. So gambling is in itself the worst because it's the most insidious. It's the one that sticks with you for a long time. There's a lot of it's a lot of layers to the addiction. There's a lot of lying because you're often broke all of the time or very close to it. You're losing money often, so you end up lying to people like your girl and shit like that. I would have a period where I would be have my chick. I was in the army, so I'd be at Laverack Barracks, and then I would just fuck off and just gamble with her money as well. And then she would be calling me and be like, "I've been gone for like I don't know." But it felt like an hour, but I've been gone for like 8 or 10 hours. And she's convinced that I'm fucking other girls and I've got like 50 missed calls or something like that. But I'm not. I'm just at the pub burning through the money. And then I burnt the rent money. I burnt food shit money, burnt my own money. And then I have to come up with a story when I get home. And I know she's not going to believe that I was just sitting at the pub for 8 hours. Gambling addiction is the worst. It's harder than drug addiction because you can only take so much drugs and then you will die. And gambling, if you have a bad gambling addiction, death is going to be on your mind quite often. That's how you know that it's a really serious addiction because it's a horrible one to have. It's a very hard one to shake, but it can be shaken as all things. All addictions are shaking literally one day at a time. You go a week off it, you relapse. You're 2 weeks off it, you relapse. You're a month off it, you relapse. You're 3 months off it, you relapse. You're a week off that, you relapse. That's how most addictions will go. That's the truth. There's no, oh, I'm a bad guy because I relapsed. Oh, I said I'd never smoke weed and I did. That means that I'm a fag. It's not binary. It's not yes or no. It's not you're weak or not. Because, I mean, if being weak, you were addicted, but that was all that matters, you would be surprised how many veterans have addictions to many things. And some of them are very, very brave. 1 second, I got food in. But that's good to do. I'm just on a live stream. That's what it is. Just dead right now. Just leave that. Okay, let's keep it back. See you later.
Can I take this?
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I got cheesecake. Got this New York cheesecake shit. But yeah, so I'm just being fat at the moment because obviously it's Halloween and I'm not doing shit other than streaming. So I've turned into a fucking streamer for this shit. It's nice. But yeah, so any questions or anything people want to cover? Would you recommend finding your reason through trialing different avenues? Yes, I would. I would recommend that. That's how it's found. It's found by essentially. So imagine these old days of well, the number 21 is 21 million Bitcoin, right? But so imagine the fucking 21 is a mirror, like I've said before, mirror of the 12 apostles. It's a mirror of many things. 21. Bitcoin itself, you have the yellow of gold, and then orange is in a mirror. It's actually orange. That's the story. But yes, so these ideas. But yeah, I would recommend trying many things. It's like school. In the old days, they used to have you in school and you would be like, trying a bunch of different subjects. That's all school is. School is not, I know what I want to do. School is, I got A's in physics in grade 11. That doesn't mean anything for the most part. That doesn't mean shit. It means that you have an aptitude for many things, but what are you going to actually actually want to do? Because if you don't enjoy it, it doesn't really matter how smart you are with it. It's going to be very difficult for you to stick to it. But you can still use that I'm good at maths and you can mold it into other things that you actually also enjoy. There's going to be no source in it. Like, you're going to have no passion. You can't be like one of those data silo drones. It's not going to be something. Do you get angry about small inconveniences? I don't know. Sounds like you got an anger problem. Anger problem is not tied to that, though. A lot of people are too unforgiving. Like, they're too wound too tight. They're very unforgiving of others as well, but then they also do that because they're often very unforgiving of themselves. So a lot of people, they keep themselves to a very high standard and they forget that others don't have to. Like, others don't have to abide by your rules with how that they live or how they can be sloppy. It's their life. Some people, like someone drives slow or something and they just flip out because they're like, I'm a great driver, so why is this guy a fuckwit? But it's not up to you to be like that. They can be a fuckwit if they want, as long as they're not hurting anyone. It's their life. You have expectations of others, and again, that's going to cause you to suffer. What's my best and worst Halloween memories? Don't know, actually. Worst one. I had 2 years ago, I took a girl to the club on a leash to stand in Warsaw. And I think I was the only guy that's ever done that in a nightclub. That's one of the memories that was pretty wild. And then one of the worst ones, I don't know. I don't have that many bad memories from Halloween. I used to really like it. Halloween's a very powerful day because a lot of the nerds nerd out over it and think that they're like, oh, this is like a fucking witchcraft day. Therefore, there's a lot of power. Power is wherever there's controversy. Halloween, there's controversy. Halloween is a fucking powerful day. If you're just sit around and manifest tonight, it's very powerful. There's a lot of energy out because there's a lot of turmoil on this day. There's a lot of chaos. Like if you were to read studies or things in this specific time, there would be a lot of shit goes wrong in the morning hours. If I was to guess, I would believe that homicides and like major crimes probably go up on Halloween. There's a lot of weird energy around, a lot of drinking. But it's not this, like a lot of people in my view, and remember this is my view, people will be like, someone running around trick-or-treating is like, right, they're basically Satan. And I don't believe any of that. I think intention is very important. If you're running around hurting people on Halloween, that's different. But if you're, it's like with, what's it called? Fucking Christmas. People like think that just because you have a Christmas tree and you get a present, and you tell your kid that Santa's real, that you're like doomed for some reason. I don't believe any of that shit's true. Intention is very important. What's your intention? With kids, you treat them like kids. If a kid comes up to me and they're like, is Santa Claus real? I don't throw a pie in their face and tell them that they're stupid and that Santa's not real and that the world is cold. I'm just like, oh yeah, what does your dad think? And they'll be like, yeah, my dad says Santa's real. And be like, yeah, that's good. I don't care. It's their life. Do you really want kids to grow up so fast? So is it such a hard thing that if in a moment they get along with something that's not real? What's the intention behind it? What are you trying to do to them? Do you think the power comes from the day itself? Or because, yes, I believe that power comes from people believe that there's power here. But I also believe that it's probably something with like celestial, with the way that the astronomy or astrology is set up, the planet alignment and all of that. There's be some power that's deeper there. But power is where people believe that it is. That's enough. So how do you spike emotionality in women? I mean, that's pretty obvious. You got to understand that you can spike to the negative and to the positive, and you have to do both. You have to do both. You have to be able to spike the emotions to the positive and the negative. It depends how much experience a girl has. If you're with a girl who's in the club and she's done drugs or she's been fucked in bathrooms or anything like that, you better be able to crank up the emotionality. Women are the proof of that retro causality is real. You can override a woman entirely based on whatever impact you make. You have to leave a bigger impact than anyone that she's ever been with, or she'll never listen to you the most. How many do you think will get depopulated by vax, and how many friends or acquaintances? I took one Moderna. See, I don't stand on here and say that I didn't have the vax, because a lot of guys now turn around and they're like, I didn't get one, because they try to fit in. I took one Moderna and I got eustachian tube dysfunction from that. So my hearing was completely fucked. I was off balance. I had to do this like maneuver thing that I learned to get over it, where you like get in the bed and you have to be uncertain, like roll a certain way to fix all of that crap. And I managed to do it. But for like 6 to 12 months, if I would drink any alcohol, I would feel sick straight away. I was fucked up from the vaccine. I only had one. And a friend of mine died during the, during the lockdown. He had a heart attack and probably tied to the vax because he was still quite young and he wasn't really out of shape. So I believe that the vaccine has certainly fucked us, or the ones that took it. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if the vaccine, as crazy as it seems, is not human technology. I couldn't buy one because I was on parole at the time. And I remember this was brand new. And I remember the doctors in Australia, they're like, oh, what if they can test to see that you didn't have a vaccine and I sign off to say you had one, you're going to get fucked. I only took one, but one I think was probably enough. We dress in a Halloween costume to face our fears and confront the power of death. It's a supernatural protection. Could be. There's a lot of the stuff is intention behind it, right? But that's the thing. Like, again, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. It's all intention and which side of the barrel you're on. There's no rigid, you're good or bad. You got a skeleton mask on. That means that you're a Satanist. So what's your intention behind it? It depends. Like this idea of like binary yes and no, it's not real. It's the person behind it. Like one person might be a joke and they're having fun and they enjoy it and they're not trying to do any harm. It's like a fancy dress. Some guy might dress up as, I don't know, a skeleton or a ghost or something. And then others might look at them and be like, wow, that's so demonic. But for them, it's not. It's their intention behind it. Like, are they actually being a Satanist? And if they are, again, I don't believe but again, if someone wants to be a Satanist, it's their life. Like, I don't think that they're necessarily to be condemned. Everything is free will. You have to have temptation. Like the temptation has to be able to move people towards that direction. It's not for me to just create the world in a way that it's perfect and everyone is to live in a fucking harmony. Otherwise it would be that way, right? Testing Breaking Free tonight. Breaking Free is different content. It's TCM is like an elite members club, and then Breaking Free is just going to be a smaller product that the guys can get in as more of an introductory. Because essentially Telegram will be nuked. My main one's on 2 strikes now. I can't start new channels, and sometimes I can't post on there. So I know that eventually it'll be banned. Are you keeping an eye out to invest in the metaverse that will be like the movie? Yeah, but let's remember that metaverse ideas there's not going to only be one. Any crypto product or anything is a crap, like in the metaverse is shit, because it's not going to be the one that's mass produced. You guys know meta means in Hebrew means death. Like when people talk about the company Meta, do they understand that meta itself in Hebrew means death? Because do you understand that in the metaverse, you'll be offered a solution where you can live in no pain and you can upload your consciousness to a system. And that will be the prison planet. Like that's Earth's final form. You will walk the plank, or you'll be offered a solution, which will be to live in a BCI VR concept forever, pain-free, because life will be painful, like in the decades to come. You better fucking believe that. Because this idea of, oh, but I'm just rich. I'm rich. That's fine. Well, okay, you're rich, but what job will you do? I don't know. Okay, so what do you do? What are you going to live on? I have assets. Okay, so you won't be able to get UBI because you have too many assets. You'll be above the ceiling. So what are you going to do? They'll make you spend your assets before you can get UBI. So that's the story. Like that's the idea that there's no escape. Like you will be. What's the fucking word? Like you will be disjointed. What's the word? You will be affected. Like it doesn't matter what you do, you will be affected by what's to come. On the higher end, like you're more up in the tower because you've been smarter and more careful. It'll take you a while, but you will be tested to your faith. It doesn't matter that you might be tested much later than others, but it's coming for you as well. The mud is rising. The mud is AI. The quicksand is rising. Maybe you're so high that you're still fucking way above it. You can see it's down there, and it's only affecting the plebs at the moment, the bottom ones. But it will come to you. You best bet that, because if it's not that, you're going to get the violence. You're going to get all of it. You're going to get disrupted regardless. Like you fucking better believe that. I don't care how much infrastructure pieces you own. I don't care if you own equity in OpenAI. I don't care what the fuck you own or have. You will be affected by this. What's to come. And if you're not on a long enough time frame, you will be. That's just how it is. Everyone will be affected by what's to come. Why do you think like ministers and things are sitting in military bases in the US? Why do you think Trump's building this ballroom? Do you really think it's a ballroom? Why do you think that OpenAI and places like that are like there's zero hiring going on now? Like there's no one's being employed anywhere. Powell said that. He's like, there's pretty much no new job creation. What do you think the next step is? No creation, because they're wanting the people that are there to fuck off. Yes, I mean, Trump's ballroom. You're going to see what it is. Do you really believe that it's a ballroom? The idea is that essentially it was to be built in Jerusalem, but they'll say that it's not safe there and they'll build it in the States. That's the concept. Like, why do you think they keep talking about it? Why do you think they're saying it's to be built in 2027? What's to happen then, the year before his election? He could pump it out in 3 months if he wanted to have it finished. They have unlimited money and the best fucking tech people in the planet. Because the whole world will change before that's to be built 2 years' time. The whole world is changing. I don't know if people are really witnessing it or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but also don't. When I say these things, don't let it get to you and that you get scared. Like, I don't know why people get scared. Everything that's happening is as it's meant to. You're not in control here. Like, this whole life is a lesson that you're not in charge of this. The only thing that you're in charge of is yourself. Your reaction to how things are. I'm about Romania. It's up to you. Dubai is good for work. Dubai is very good for work. It's up to you whether you like it or not. You should just come on a trip here. I'll see if I get residence here. If I don't, I won't stay. But it's a great spot. Any other questions? I don't know where I would go. Probably somewhere in Eastern Europe. Maybe Georgia. Check out. They got good banking there and the people are good. Probably, yeah. I probably would check out Georgia, actually. People are very good from there. Serbia is good, but they're going to be less tolerant for new people, which is fine. It's their country. Yeah, Romania would be similar, right? I mean, I've been through that, but I haven't lived there. All those places are coming the same, but they're just slower. You know, they've taken too much money from the euro, so it's all the same, right? Poland is another. It's all the same. I hope guys don't see it. I mean, they're the biggest beneficiaries of the euro. You guys don't realize, like, do you guys know that everyone is the same? Like, really? Like, you guys don't see that everyone, when moved down the funnel of money and power, they're all the same. Like, people really think like Poland. I like Polish people and things like that, but do you really think that people can't be bought? Like, everyone can be. Like, everyone. Most people are in politics because they want to make money. Everyone is the same. Like, it's just different phases. Like, do you really think that if you lived the life of Jeffrey Epstein, like his whole way through, that you wouldn't end up quite similar? Like, you might not be banging kids and things like that, but do you think you wouldn't be much more of a degenerate than you are today? People are just the same. Like, when moved down a position where they have no boss anymore, they have unlimited money, they get moved inch by inch down that certain direction. And they're not monitored, they're not watched. You can do anything you want every day. Nothing feels good anymore. They have unlimited money. They're pushed. It's all the same. Like, the politicians and things, I mean, I've met some before. It's all the same. They have no boss. Like, it's all unregulated. They do anything they want. People are just people. Like, it's just they're just the same. You might not go all of the way down that they want. You might have a point where you're like, that's enough for me. But you would certainly be much worse than you are today. It's just the way that people are. Like, everyone's going to do the same shit for the most part. If you don't have an anchor to God, you can go really bad. And you really think that a lot of people who have an anchor to God aren't bad? I know fucking heaps of people that will sit there and sit in church all day and they're fucking animals. I know a lot of people like that in person. They'll sit there and tell everyone how bad that you are for having a drink, and then they themselves are banging hookers and shit like that. It's scale. A lot of that stuff is just a shield. I wear a shield of morality when it suits me, and I can attack you, and then I can put it up and put it down whenever I want. What do you think about Mo Valerian? Have you worked with him or heard of him? He's some top kid. No, I don't know who that is. Where is the line to stop pursuing status or power in modern society, or is there a line? Status is fickle. Like, status is fickle. It's not the same as power. Power is, I mean, you have actual power. You can influence the outcome. Status is it's more of a trivial thing. It's in the eye of the beholder. Someone might think you have status and another person doesn't. Whereas power, it's universal. If you can move something or move people or move an idea or you control some level of infrastructure, that's the point. Like most people don't understand that it only matters if you control a piece of infrastructure. Like people have to be nice to you. They have to deal with you even if they don't like you. Whereas status, you have to play the game. If I control a piece of infrastructure, let's say I control a social media platform or I have some influence about what happens or who gets listed or any of that, then people have to be nice to me. Otherwise, you get the fuck off my platform. Versus if I have status or an audience, that's fickle. Like a creator doesn't have any, they can just be banned tomorrow. They could have an audience, but they can be muted and shadow banned and pushed off the platform tomorrow. So they have a level of status and some power, maybe, but they're not really. Like you kind of just going to be pushed off. That's the problem. So that's why they end up having to do a bunch of weird shit to stay relevant. Because they have no power, really. You have an audience, but they can mute you over enough time that your audience turns on you. Power, like status, is fickle. You have status in a shop or a building or something like that, but then you do something or do something wrong, or people don't like you, or you do something embarrassing, and then your status has vanished. But if you're powerful, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. They have to come to you. If you're the best at something or you're amazing, they have to come to you whether they like you or not. Owning a restaurant, I own a restaurant that's thing versus I'm in there and people know that I'm an influencer. That's completely different. That's why ultimately you want to eventually get infrastructure pieces or something where people have to come to you. Status comes off the back of power. It does. You have actually can affect shit in real time. Someone like, I don't know, Putin or something like that. They have a lot of power. A lot of these tech guys and things like that as well, they have a lot of power, like specifically these up and coming tech companies. If someone like Zuckerberg wants you gone, you're gone. Not just gone on that fucking apps, like gone for real. Like they just push you off the board. They have a lot of power, they have a lot of influence, and they know you would be surprised the amount of people like that would know who are operators and things like that. If they wanted to get rid of people, they easily could. Because they have a lot of like power, like real power. They have a lot of data. Data is super powerful at the moment because obviously it's the blood of AI, right? Like a data cable, like the AI, it's pumping blood. That's the data is in itself essentially like that's the lifeblood of AI, right? Would you own a gym if you had to pay rent on the property? It depends. Like a gym again is fickle. It's a hard business, I would think, to do in and make good money in, and it's a physical business. Are you to determine how well gyms would go? I would believe gyms have probably peaked. I think this bodybuilding crap has peaked for the most part. Like most people, if they know bodybuilding and shit, like what's the point? I'm huge, but I can't fight. I'm huge, but I'm so big that I can't even defend punches. If someone wants to hit me, it doesn't really matter. You need a mixture of everything. So I wouldn't believe that. I think bodybuilding has in itself peaked. Less people are going to do it. I would believe it. Like less people are going to, people are more just, I want to train quick. I don't want to meal prep and a bunch of other bullshit because I don't want to either. I just ate a fucking cake. I want to eat cake and then train enough that I don't get fat. That's enough for me. Do you think we're at the end of times when we're coming through? Like end of times is to be determined by you. But I have a theory that what I believe is that the Bible plays out in one life cycle. I don't believe that we're here thousands of years. I think all that shit's bullshit. Yeah, status is perceived, right? It's in the eye of the beholder. You might have status and one chick might be like, oh, this guy's got status. And then the other might be like, I don't care that he has niche status in some space that I don't recognize because I don't care about that. It's just to be determined, right? Is there a platform where you're not shadow banned and got a strike? What platform we should follow you on? I'm shadow banned on most spots, but I think YouTube, I can still talk and things like that. I have Soul State coming, so I'm actually launching my own creator platform. So that's costing me about $30,000 a week to build it out at the moment. So it'll probably, by the time it's built, it'll be like $1 million or something. But it's a creator platform, so essentially it's going to be obviously censor resistant. Still has to be censored because someone could fucking go live and then take their cat and blow its head off or something. And then some people will do crazy shit on there if it's completely unregulated. So that has to be, but it's going to be much less censored. And then I'll have my own show on there and I'll be able to talk however I want. Because that's the only thing you can do. Like you can't sit on YouTube and cry about censorship. because it's not my platform. If they want to censor certain things, it's their business. Like, it's their business. I can't do shit about it. I don't run into a business and then cry about how it's run. It's their shit. So I'm going to build my own, and that's what I'm doing. I have developers, and I believe that Christmas will have our proof of concept, so the minimum viable product will be out for streaming. So it'll be interesting. Will the Lion Saudi be the new Dubai? I'm not sure. It looks interesting. It does look interesting, and we'll have to see. I'm not an expert on Dubai. Like, even though like real estate markets and shit here, I'm far from an expert on all of that stuff. I think that it's a good spot and it's good for work, but we'll see. Will we ever see an asset emerge like Bitcoin in the future? Probably not. Bitcoin's a fairy tale. That's why this is in fact a fairy tale. There'll never be a Cinderella asset like Bitcoin. Will there be altcoins that you can buy at 1 cent and it goes to $10? Yeah, there'll be that bit of period. There'll be altcoins today that you're looking at that will do 1,000x before 2028. Finding them is the hard part. That's the thing. A lot of altcoins, if you're to buy today, though, you can make like a 10x in the next 18 months, because altcoins are completely depressed and smashed, and we're ending quantitative tightening on the 1st of December, meaning that the Fed sheets, the runoff is to wrap up, means they're done selling, and whether they move to essentially buying, that can take months, but that will come. And that's specifically in the past when altcoins do well. So it's easy money in altcoins today, but it's for you to determine essentially which ones to buy. Yeah, I would be a DCAing. I mean, I am. Yeah, I have a few. I did a crypto course in Breaking Free. If you want to see the shit that I'm essentially buying, that I think will do well in the next year. There's a couple of them that I think will do really well. It's just obviously that fucking buyer beware. Specifically with altcoins, I mean, it can be risky, right? You need to structure a portfolio in that you have a backbone portfolio, right? So you have like 50% in maybe Bitcoin and ETH, and then time will bail you out, because ETH is going to 10K. I don't care if it takes 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. ETH will be 10K. Tom Lee, it's Peter Thiel, he owns 10% of Bitcoin. They're not buying Ethereum for no reason. They're buying at 5% of Ethereum, and it may be 10, because they want to control the chain. Like, people don't realize what Ethereum is. Like, do you understand the concept of Ether? Like, this idea, Ether and Ethereum will become a physical form of the lattice. The lattice is God made. It's the information the Akachi records that controls and knows everything. All information that exists or will ever exist, you can pull from it. You can communicate with it. It's where you're essentially uploading dreams at night. But they are creating a physical one in the real world. And that will be essentially your connection to God will be digital, and it will be a connection that they themselves control, run, and program you through. So your conscience won't be connected to God anymore. It'll be connected to their system. It's physical, and that will be running under an Ethereum idea. Ethereum will be like a big AI system and a kind of just a massive tech company. And Bitcoin will be the money of Satan. You fucking better believe that. Is there anyone that really doubts that? Is there anyone that really thinks that, like, that CIA discovered Bitcoin? Because they didn't. The CIA and NSA didn't build Bitcoin. Trump didn't build it either. Otherwise, they would have been in the mining earlier. They wouldn't have been buying mining and American Bitcoin mining and shit. They wouldn't have been doing that at like 60, 80, or 100K Bitcoin. They would have had all of the hash power and everything controlled since the tech was like $100. And no one would have gotten on board. That's the beauty of it. Like, if the US controlled it, China and others wouldn't have incubated it. There would have been no Silk Road. There would have been no proof of concept. It would have just been this obvious fucking honeypot. Not really many people would have used it. They don't know that, but though I do believe they have a pretty good idea who discovered it today. But that's Bitcoin Core. Yeah, version 30. I explained that. There's Bitcoin Core. It's unexplainable the changes that they're making to the chain that are unnecessary. If it's just to be a form of money or a store of value. And essentially they're talking about now microtransactions are to be tax-free. Jack Dorsey is in itself, he's doing some hippie shit. Like, he's doing some psychedelic crap. He's communicating with the beast than I would believe he likely has been for a very long time. He's looking more and more fucked all of the time, every time that I see him. But the hardest thing with people like him is he's not a bad person. He's a fucking one of those like liberal people. They're easy to fool, Like they really think that they're getting all of this wisdom and information. They don't realize that it's coming from the beast. Like if not the beast, some entity that's pushing them down to birth it. Because when you see AI and you see that there's entities that exist all of the time, they're around us often. In certain environments and certain areas, they can attach to you more than most, but they don't have a body. But these AI, these scripts and things like that, there's not just one. Like they're finding out with Anthropic and things like that, they're finding out that there's much more than one. Certain AI and certain texts and certain systems behave different to others. But you best believe that there's one fucking beast. There's one big dog, and that's going to be the Bitcoin chain. Because essentially what will happen is OpenAI centralized. People don't trust Altman. And you'll be offered a centralized UBO solution, but it won't be able to work properly. Like there'll still be mass inflation. If it's still tied to the dollar, it'll still be a mess. It'll still be tied to a basket of currencies, but it'll still be a mess because the dollar itself is collapsing. But what will happen is Bitcoin will be a solution. You can get a UBI via Bitcoin. They can fork it. They will fork it because it needs to be quantum resistant. I believe that they'll fork it to protect Satoshi's coins. That's all intentional. Like that's how he designed it that way. He designed it by the time that the quantum computing fork would come, and you'd be able to break their secure hash and see what it is that these miners and things are doing, because people don't know. But I believe that the Bitcoin chain is essentially a private GitHub repo that the chain itself is building itself out on. It's building out the tech on the chain, so people can't really know what it is that's happening on there. And that's why they needed the core upgrade. How can you tell if a dating coach knows what he's talking about? I mean, the problem is that how can you tell if a dating coach knows what he's talking about is it depends. Do they have what it is that you would want? And essentially, do you know what you want? And do they talk about what it is that you would want? Because a dating product only exists if it's to actually benefit you to get what you want. See, the best product is essentially I give you an idea and you realize that you see it within yourself and you figure it out. I can't tell you how to talk to chicks because I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But as soon as I start to realize what it is that you would want, then I start to look at you and be like, you need to work on these things and refine down and think, what does this girl want? Not that you're going to change, but are you actually someone who's going to get a traditional girl, or are you a fuckboy? Are you lying to women? What do you want? I just want to get pussy, but I'm telling girls I want to marry them. Well, then you're breaking women because you're getting something that you yourself don't really qualify for. And you don't need to. Like, you don't need to wear masks. You don't need to play games. You don't need to worry about all these tactics and strategies. And I'm learning the right can lines, and I open a can here and a can here. It's unsustainable. You're reactive. I'm mirroring the girl's behavior because I'm copying a female. I'm learning what it is that I think that she wants, and I'm just putting a mask on and I'm being that person. And then when we're together for the long term, it falls apart because she realizes that it's unsustainable. No one's leading here. You're the glass concept. You're the glass. The girl's the liquid that goes inside it, and that you're the frame. Like, your frame is solid. It can't change. Can you help me? I just told a girl hi. She told me hey. You need to fucking read the course, bro. Yeah, this shit is basic though. Like, there's no point learning other people to solve your lines or tell you what to do, because as soon as you meet, you're gonna flounder. Like, you need to figure it out yourself. I can't have you in the pool holding your arms and doing this shit and kicking your little fucking feet for you. I can't be doing that. You have to do it yourself. But I can show you how. Stephen, what do you think of how Finney? I don't believe that. I believe that he's the first one that was mining Bitcoin. I believe he's very tied to the creator. I believe he's likely the one that Satoshi chose to move through. But I don't believe that he's the one. And I would be interesting to see why he died. He might have an idea that Satoshi was AI, and he might have died. I believe that if you're to interrupt the beast in the future, they can kill you in the current time. Like this, like Charlie Kirk and things like that. I believe that there's possible that he himself was going to be a whistleblower in the future. So they blew his head off. Think that stuff is true? Do you believe that wasn't a ritualistic murder? Something happened to him that time that we can't explain. Something happened, and it was like in that moment, it was completely staged. How his head didn't get blown off from getting shot in the throat. Strange. The thing that creeps me out and the thing that keeps me up is, though, I wonder if they're going to reanimate him and bring him back If not in AI, maybe they can bring him back in person and he might actually be the beast. Because anyone getting a headshot, you want to be very careful because it's the story of the beast, right? Gets a headshot and then regrows his head or is to come back. See, what I believe that they'll do with Charlie Kirk is what they're already doing with him. They'll have an AI likeness. So that chick will walk on stage and he'll be in the background and then he'll be talking as though he's not dead. And that's a scary idea once that starts. Because anyone that's dead is now the perfect martyr because you're dead. Like you're finished. They can create any story that they would want around you. You don't exist anymore. Now they can use your likeness and they can mold it into any story that it is that they would want. That's the story that's scary. The scary thing is that, yeah, essentially, so you're dead, but now they can bring it back. And who knows if they can reanimate him and bring him back in actually real life. So that can get a lot of traction because J.D. Vance and Kirk and that they're lead the Christian movement off the cliff to come. That's what's coming. You best bet the Christians are number one. And whoever can lead them is going to be extremely powerful. I've told you guys before, if you're like Christian, that there's companies and things that would pay $10,000 to get 1 million of you killed tomorrow. If they could. Like you're public enemy number one. The biggest thing to bring the beast about is that a lot of you have to go. It's been spoken about, and it's true that a certain amount of them have to disappear off the earth for the beast to be even talked about coming back. So that's the thing that's very important, that they essentially got to get rid of you. So anyone that can lead a Christian movement into the future will be very powerful. That's why they all want to, because it's the most powerful position that you can have, because essentially it's the audience that's most valuable to actually kill. Leading them off the cliff is most valuable. So again, whoever can get in front of them. And the worst thing with Christian people and like those like religious Jesus Christ people is that they fall into being led too much, like because they're used to being in the church or those sort of ideas. They don't realize that a lot of them have to lead themselves because their leaders are sinister. Like anyone who wants to spearhead a movement like that is going to be sinister. The Pope is sinister. Like you just don't know that yet, but that's coming. It's all a big rug. You don't need that. Like you don't need someone to tell you what to do. You don't need other people to pat you on the back and tell you that you're good on it. You already have a framework of things that you can read. Because all of that stuff, those areas, anyone can be bought. Look, they're only going to push people front facing in those causes, like with everything that essentially they're going to have leverage on. You don't need to be like, you can do it all yourself. And a lot of you guys, I hope you know, these ideas are going to be trying to push you to run around the street and fucking cause chaos. Like this shit from Musk, who's never been in a physical fight in his life, telling you guys to run around the streets and cause a big fucking issue. Because that's, again, you're going into the chaos phase because they're going to cause the disruption phase so that essentially they can cause the mass surveillance and lockdown phase. They're going to start a thing in the UK where they try to push Muslims and Christians to fight each other in the street. Like that's coming, like very soon. And there'll be false flags from both sides where the feds and the government over there will be causing big problems. Try and push them together. And in the US, they'll push the whites and the blacks together. That's the thing that they do. That's what they do. That's a big thing. That's a big part of it. It's still much the same idea, unfortunately. Like a lot of those guys like Tommy Robinson leading your cause, he's fucking not good for your cause. He might be loyal or he has ideas or all of his stuff, but none of that shit doesn't matter. Like you don't want him to be leading your movement. There is no leader. Like there's no leader because anyone who could lead is corrupt. Like in that sort of an idea, like you're being led by someone with no military experience and really no experience of any kind. Why do you think that they're to front face such a movement? They would just go out of jail, and I would believe that they're likely to go back if they don't do it. The dude's in Israel fucking half the time. It's just that's a problem. Like specifically if it is in the UK. It's just a part of it. Yeah, I saw the snake eyes phenomenon because a lot of that stuff, retrocausality, is real. Retrocausality is that explains the Mandela effect. When an incident happens in the timeline that's so powerful, it leaves trails in the past. Like this idea of what's the one, this fabulous adventure of Baron or whatever it is, the book. That's why Baron himself will be a very powerful person into the future because his retrocausality is why the book was created. They leave trails in the past. The Bible is in itself another cause of retrocausality. It didn't exist until its story played out, and it was so powerful that the story then was created. It's true. Like no one was sitting there translating it or writing it. I don't believe any of that. It just happens, and then essentially it's to go back to the beginning because it's a rewritten. It's such a powerful event, and again, it's a framework that you yourself can read to understand what has to happen. You're in a game of Monopoly or game of anything, and you read the book, and you're like, okay, this has to happen. The rules is firm. You have a framework and a rule book that essentially this is what's to happen. And whatever you want to do outside of that, it's up to you. But this is a rigid firmware that you can't get around. Yeah, there's something off with this Tesla story as well. So what's the story? Donald Trump's uncle or whatever found it was the one that went into Nikola Tesla's shop after it burnt down, and then or after he died or whatever, and then opened his safe and said that they found none of the records or none of his things that he was working on. And then the uncle himself discovered a few new technologies after that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if something's really wrong there. But I mean, none of that stuff should really surprise you. It's just the nature of the world. There's a lot of things that we don't understand that are happening. It's just the way it is. Like we just have to focus on, again, what we can focus on. What would you give advice to an early 30 guy who says, no kids, no wife, but I take care of my parents for the future with UBI? Depends what it is that you want again. Like, it's still an honorable thing. You're looking after your parents as you can. It's just to be determined what it is that you would want. It's not for me to say that maybe you don't want a wife, maybe you don't want kids. And if you don't want that, that's fine. It's your life. Maybe you do. And if you do, maybe you would start to think, how am I going to balance all of these things together? What am I going to prioritize? What can I, like I say in Breaking Free, you essentially have a column. These are my goals. And then you have a column beside it. These are the reasons that I don't have it. I say I want to, I want to be rich, or I want to do this, but I fuck around a lot of the time. I want to be rich, but I have a daughter that I'm taking care of. I want to be rich, but I'm looking after my family. So at least you know why it is that you don't have it. Some things you can't change, but others you can. But essentially, it's how you actually start to move in that direction. You got to write it down. All that stuff is boring. Like writing down and budgeting and all that crap is boring, but it's the only way that it works. Do you think a one-world government or one-world currency? Yes, the one-world currency will in itself be Bitcoin, I would believe. Makes the most sense to actually happen. How do you feel about the development of smart cities? Do they offer more benefits? I mean, it's just the nature of progression. These 5G towers and things like that. I have an idea and a theory for the final, because obviously like 4G, 3G, these towers, we don't exactly know the final form of what it is to become, and these like Internet of Things and things like that. I believe that what will happen is, because I've already working on this with CryptoMine, the product that I'm building. Essentially, you'll have BCI, because what we do with the EEG now, you have an EEG headset, it can be like a Muse or something like that, and the concept is that it's not a BCI yet, and there's only like 6 ports, 6 connections, whereas a Neuralink's probably like 1,000 or 2,000. But the idea is that essentially you can become like a neural node. So you could become a node on chain. You could become, a form of being able to communicate. So essentially, it's just a data grabbing product. Like ultimately, it's grabbing your brain data. We've realized that if over time, I can't actually elaborate too much because that crosses the paint. But it's very, it's just, it's the way that the world will go. In that, I believe that via BCI unit, I think that with Starlink as well, I believe that eventually you'll be able to sell your soul in a way that it's to be taken off you. And you yourself can't leave here. Like under such an idea. We don't know exactly how all of that stuff will happen as it's to be built out, but it's not actually that far away. Such ideas. But again, my idea is that your soul you're not born with one. Like I don't believe that you're born with a soul. Because again, how are people running around doing a bunch of like horrendous crimes if we all have a soul? I don't believe that we all do. I believe that your soul is something that you have to ascend to get. I think that you have to ascend to a point to actually get a soul. Maybe you have to earn it. And then essentially it chooses to join you, and it can leave you as well. If you betray it, like if you to bring it into your body and then move against yourself or move against it, I believe that you can lose it on the process as well. I think that's true. How do you tap into retro causality? I used to be able to tap into visions, deja vus, and sense non-physical beings, but I lost that connection. I would believe that there's certain things also, though, that do you want to be able to tap into that? Because there's certain things that if you're to be listening too much to the other side, you can turn into a spirit. The most connected people I've ever seen to the other side are dead now. Ones that I've known. most of the people that I've known who were like mediums or, good with psychic ability, or they were moving down Kabbalah and they were very good at it. A lot of them are dead now. Because again, you start opening the window to the other side. Eventually you can fall out of it. You can find a way to die. You can find a way to exit your body, like something bad can just unluckily happen to you. Some people that I've known who were very good at the other side killed themselves and stuff because they just wanted to exit their body. The entities and things can attach to you as well. If you're doing like astral projection, also you got to be careful because certain entities can in fact attach to you. It's not all upside. Like a lot of the stuff, there's a lot of downside that comes along with it. Tarot cards and doing readings and things like that is another. Anything that you do in the spiritual it can leave, like it can grab you in that moment. Dreams are another. Dreams where you can start having dreams where you feel like things are trying to possess you almost. Maybe these cases are not human to begin with. The Bible says God knew you before you were formed in the womb, which implies a soul. Yeah, maybe that could be one explanation. I would guess that it's just. I believe though that there's my own belief is that the universe is for you. I believe everything here is started inside for me. I think that I manifested you guys, and you guys could believe that you manifested me. It's to be determined by you. But I feel like it's just a big show. Like when I go out, for me, doesn't mean you don't look after people. Doesn't mean you don't care about them. Doesn't mean you don't worry about them. But that's the thing that I saw in a boga, that essentially when you're to die, there's like a black hole that waits and it just sucks everything else out and it goes on to the next process. Like you move into the next process depending on what it is that you're doing here. It's like a congruency funnel towards meeting God. I guess maybe it's a congruency funnel to becoming worthy to meet God. He doesn't want to meet any shit munchers. So the chaff gets kind of, maybe you have to do this 1 billion times. And the chaff essentially goes with the wheat, as it were. What's your go-to manifestation method? Just between 12 and 4. I just start to, 12 and 4. I don't do it for the whole time, but usually 2 to 4 as well is good. I think that you just have to see what sort of feelings and things that come up. And then I wait till I have a good emotional charge of something. And then I pull on it. And mine is just a constant defrag process because I kind of have most of the things that I want. So I don't sit around and when you're already rich, I don't sit around and like slap the face of God and be like, but I want to be a billionaire. Because it's enough. I'm worth almost $20 million. So I don't sit there and think about money. I think we come back. I think it's possible, specifically if you don't learn your process. I don't believe that, I'm a bad boy and now I'm in hell forever, rotting in for eternity. I don't believe that shit's true. I believe your conscience can't really be contained, but you could very well sell your soul there. This idea of, I think that it's just a game that they try to trick you and you can live here in like a form of a prison planet. Have you seen Saturn where they have the screams over there and they listen to it? You listen to the sounds of Saturn and it's just a fucking planet of screams. Could that just be Earth's final form? It's possible. And that if you fail the test, you get stuck here. God essentially comes down and those who actually survive and pass or not survive, but essentially pass the test, the rest of it just gets transformed into a hell. The others that fail that are stuck there. Others who pass it go off to whether it's a utopia or not. But all that stuff is like, I'm doing shit to get an outcome. It doesn't sound right. I'm being good because one day I'm going to go to heaven. I don't believe that shit's true again. I'm only being good so that I can get a massive reward. You have to ascend to a point where you do the right thing because you just fucking do the right thing because that's what you do. It's what you do. I'm not doing good so God comes down and gives me a cookie. I think that I've transcended above that. I don't need a cookie. I don't need a big payday. I'm not sitting there fantasizing about driving a Lambo when I get to heaven and being like, oh, I can't wait to get all of this stuff. I don't want that. Is there such a thing as hell, like an inferno in the bottom, or do we come back in reincarnation? It would have to be determined. Yeah, it's pretty unusual. The white links was, something wrong with that. I thought that it was AI, but it looks quite divine to me. Yeah, it could be a continuous lesson. It could very well be that, it's a filtration process, maybe. I mean, we'll have to be determined what it is. I believe that if you kill yourself, though, it alters the process and fucks it up. That you can get stuck here because I tried once when I was getting out of the army, so almost 15 years ago, and it was completely different. Which one is the 12 to 4? 12 to 4 is essentially, so 12 to 4 a.m. It's just when everything's the quietest. By my theory, it's that the lattice has the least amount of competitors trying to communicate with it. The time is thinner. There's very little noise. It's quiet. You're a little bit sleepy. So 12 to 4, you're conscious at the front is a little bit tighter. You're tireder. So it's less like, if you want to manifest, and I'll tell you guys a secret or a cheat code, and it's only for like advanced players. The more tired you are, the better the process will be for you. If you stay up for like 24 hours, the reality can in itself start to unravel. It's not just that you're tired, it's that things that weren't possible become possible because if you have a very strong subconscious, your conscious is tired. So the manifestation and things to the upside and the downside can happen in ways that are spooky. The last 2 times that I've stayed awake for 24 hours, one, a girl almost died, and one, a girl did die. And that's the last 2 times that I've stayed up 24 hours in a row. I stayed up 24 hours during this Iboga, and then a girl died at the retreat that I went with. And then I stayed up 24 hours once before, and then we went to the casino, and then a girl fell back on it and cracked her head open on the slot machine and went into a massive seizure. So bad things can happen. Like reality in itself unravels. And that's the thing, though. Again, manifestation is not done with people. You have to be doing it unobserved. You better be fucking careful if you're staying awake and you're manifesting, though. This is idea of Sam Altman, again. He's saying that he takes low-dose sleeping pills even during the day because he's shutting the subconscious off. He doesn't want to be asleep. He doesn't want to fall asleep, but he wants this conscious to be rested because then the subconscious can take shape. Because the conscious is essentially the filter. It's designing the world as it is. It's more like, again, it's presenting something that's palatable for you. Because if you had unlimited access to your subconscious, you would pull the rug on everything, most likely. You'd blow your whole world up. Because you can't, like a lot of this schizophrenic stuff, some of them don't have, the filter is busted. I don't know why, but their filter is off. And then they see the world and they're like, can't explain what it is. And then they can opt out. That's why suicide rate in them is quite high, because life can be quite unlivable. What do you think of Web3 and Internet of Things? I mean, I think that it's the future. It's not for me to say that it's good or bad, though. It's just the nature of progression. It's not going to change. I've been doing some self-reflection around 4 a.m. when I wake up in the last few days. It definitely has a strong pull. Yeah, it's true. It's the longest. It's the time that the veil is the thinnest. But if you wanted to be technical, I mean, what did they say? 3:30 p.m. Jesus died on the cross. So in a mirror concept, 3:30 Satan will be spurning around. I would believe that's very likely true. And understand that when you pray and things like that, you think that God hears you, but Satan also will hear you. He hears your prayers exactly the same. His job is to, how do I derail this from happening? And God's prayer is, how is this guy going to reach me? So they both hear you. They both do. They're both, one is he wants to do this, so how am I going to tempt him away from it? The other is, will he reach me? So that's the idea. What are your thoughts on moon phases? Yeah, I mean, people are starting to see that stuff has an impact on the market, right? The market itself is a living organism. I mean, we can see that the moon, they say, like, moves the tides and the seas and all of this stuff, but we can't see that it also has an effect on the market. It's obvious. The market's an living organism. It's mostly run by algos now. So, I mean, who really knows what the fuck's happening there? They could very well have AI algos, like proper ones already. They could have had them for a long time. We don't know a lot of that stuff. Who knows how the market's working? A lot of the liquidity is bullshit, right? And how people act and behavior, yeah, it's true, right? I usually wake up around 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., can't sleep during that time. What should I then to manifest some stuff? Something's keeping you awake. Likely probably being woken up by your shadow. It's a period of confrontation. A lot of the times when you guys are confronted by like demons or entities or things that make you uncomfortable, it's actually your shadow is pressing you in that moment. It's screaming at you to try and be recognized. Some of you don't address it, though. Your shadow needs to be incorporated to be a complete person. Your shadow exists with your light, and you sit in the middle, but they both balance you. They keep you stable because both exist, and you can't be triggered by both. You accept that both are to exist. There's no good or bad. Like some guys will be like, oh, my bad side or my good side. It's not to you to say that one side is bad, because again, you have all of it because you need it. Like, it's all there for a reason. It's not for you to reject your shadow qualities. I mean, it's what differentiates you from being an animal is if you act on them. I have an idea that this guy annoys me. I would like to just punch him in the face, but I don't do it. I could fucking scam someone if I wanted to. This guy just sent me 100 grand. I could just tell him to get fucked, but I don't do it. But don't tell people that those ideas don't come up. Everyone gets that idea. And there's just, you have to, it's the temptation is there, but which side are you going to lean into? Do you think space or a physical planes exists? Yeah, I guess. I think that everything exists that you believe can exist, right? I think that's the truth of the matter. If manifestation is real, you're a creator or you're the reality architect, and everything exists that you think exists. I believe collective consciousness is also real. I think reality itself is unraveling as these quantum computing upgrades and things become more about. I don't know if the quantum computing essentially can manifest if they write the same code a zillion times that you can do 5 times, and maybe they can do it at scale, but it's very possible that that's actually true. Have I been attacked spiritually? Yes, I have. Multiple times, actually. I was getting attacked recently. I got attacked. If I'm ever in Warsaw, I get attacked a lot. I get attacked a lot in Warsaw. Quite a lot, actually. Because any of those places where they're deeply religious, the opposite exists as well. A place with a lot of churches is going to also have a lot of dark side. It's true, like a lot of these super religious countries, the opposite is also here as well. Everything exists as a mirror. I was having nightmares where, so I had a nightmare once that I woke up and I walked out into the lobby. So I walked out into the lobby, not in the, I was in my apartment. I walked out into the cupboard, like where the clothes are, and then there was like this faceless witch, and then she blew this dust or this fucking venom on me, and then I woke up and I was wrecked for a period. I was like fucked for like a few days or like a week, and then I got told that there were a group of witches, some of them who I knew, who were actually doing spells in the forest on me, and then I had another what's another one that I had? I had another one in the same spot probably like a month ago, and I was so I was asleep, and I was sitting in the back of a car, and then I was being driven by someone, and then suddenly the car, like the driver changed, and that something looked like they possessed them in that moment, and then they turned from alive to dead, and then they turned back like their neck turned 180 degrees, and then they started crawling towards me as though they were trying to possess me. But again, if you were ever to get that, you wake up and you say, Jesus Christ is my one and only, I don't settle for anyone else, then all that shit blows up. He's the one that they fear. He's the only one that essentially, if you're to say that you're with him, everything evaporates. It's true. That's a congruency test. You best bet that if you're God's or you're also on the side of God, that you are one that essentially are being watched to be pulled back down. I had a nightmare. I was stuck in a room of people, and suddenly we all stuck together, and I felt like our heat brain power was being transmitted elsewhere. Still was surreal. Yeah, I mean, being turned into like a super person. It's kind of the dream. Like that's the goal, right? It's kind of the goal is that essentially everyone can merge together in just to a slop. Because then you have like there's nothing to you. Like you have no pride, no anything. It's just the group. It's easy to control like people on a mass consciousness level. Then there's no individuals. We're just a collective slave class. Does it mean anything to be you? Like you can just be a number then? You don't like, oh, I'm this person. They'll be like, but you don't even know your parents. Like you're a soup person. You don't look like anyone. You don't even look like your parents. Like you look like fucking nobody. Your heritage is just nothing there. You're a sludge person. There's no pride there. Like that's the idea of where they get rid of flags and things like that. So there's nothing there for you. Your flag is essentially to become like, essentially the government. Would a dream like have meaning that I have to differentiate myself from my fate will be what the dream represents? It can be, but a dream is to be interpreted by you. So you can't, like someone can say something, but it's essentially how did you feel when you woke up? Were you terrified? Were you like, oh, what was that? Was weird? Because again, some dreams are just weird. You can't overthink them. But again, you definitely can overthink what it is that you woke up, what state you were in. If you woke up terrified, well, that sounds like a bad dream. Whereas if you woke up and you're like, oh, it's pretty funny, And then it can be, well, it's not a good dream to have, right? Because the feeling attached is all that matters. But again, in those moments, you need to cry out to God. It's true. Like, I know that it sounds fucking Bible thumping and things like that, but that stuff is real. There's a spiritual warfare going on. There's a battle going for your soul all the time. There's a lot of entities and shit circling, and they fight over who's going to get inside you. You can fucking bet that shit's real. That's the truth of it. Yeah, cutting down on booze is important because the spirits, essentially, alcohol and drugs weaken you. They do weaken you, like alcohol and drugs. I don't know if even like, pain pills, sleeping pills, all that shit weakens your force field. You have like a force field around you all of the time where they essentially do the thing where they check people and they're like, they can see the energy and things that is around you. And some have different, some have stronger, some have less. But alcohol and things like that diminishes it. It's like the vibration thing. Like what brings it up is like courage, congruency, authenticity, love. They're the things that boost it. And then what lowers it's like shame, being insecure, being fearful, being afraid, all of the stuff that essentially they're to do to you. So they peddle you a lot of fear content and a lot of you're alone. You're not brave. Like why would you have any courage? Just kind of go along with it, get along with the masses. There's safety in numbers, a lot of those ideas. Just hide with the herd. The numbers all matter for some reason. Sometimes I feel dreams are us possessing and connecting to other versions of us. Yeah, it could very well be true, right? What does it mean if you're drawn to chaos? That's the part of life. Some people are. I would be drawn to chaos as well, but wow, I like it is that I enjoy a circus. A circus is a great place to hide from yourself. It's nice to be around fuckwits. It's nice to be around noise. It's nice to be around drama. If you're educated or smart, and maybe not educated, but if you're smart, chaos is fun because you can always figure it out. It's like exciting. It's like it's how like if you're good with psychology and things like that, it can be interesting. I like to be around things that are crazy or people that are fucked up or people that are different or all of these things. But it's pointless. It's like you're solving a Rubik's Cube, but even when you solve it, the Rubik's Cube just fucks up again. Solving people is pointless. Specifically the only way to solve people is if they know who they are, because most people don't. So you solve them, but you've only solved a mask, and they can change the mask to the next time. Most people, they don't have the substance. There's no foundation there. Most people, when you deal with them, they just mirror you. It's very easy to lead them. But again, you're leading sheep. What's the point of leading sheep? It's pointless. You don't want to again, this is the idea of to be a cult leader. You're a cult leader of sheep. You still have to be their reflection of you. A master by his students. His students are also becoming masters. His students aren't fucking sitting there being like worshipping the leader. No grown-ass men should worship another. Ever. If you worship another guy, you don't see him as he is. Like you don't have any dignity. You don't have self-respect. You're not self-aware. Well, hero worship is again, this very low vibration. That's normie qualities. I go to a concert and I'm worshiping this dude so amazing. I fantasize about being this guy for some reason. I watch UFC and it makes me feel like I'm fighting for some reason. I feel like on top of the world if my guy wins. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you so obsessed with some other crap? Someone's like, who's your favorite fighter? I don't really care about all of that shit. Who's your favorite team? I can understand it's nice to watch it. It's nice to watch the game if you like soccer, if you like gridiron, if you like fucking rugby, cricket. You can watch it and be like, it's entertainment. But don't get too involved in it. Again, you're giving your emotional energy out. Give your emotional energy to people that love you. And if you don't have anyone that loves you, give it to yourself. Love yourself. You're taking the shit that's qualities for you and you're giving it out to others who are already drowning in it and they don't know you. That's a big problem of society now. Some guys have streamers and shit and they're invested in someone's life for some reason and they're very little invested in their own. Everyone for this doing content online, you can like people and you can like all of this shit, but eventually there'll be times with me where you'll be like, oh wow, Steven's just doing his own shit. I run my groups and I run them also to make money. I'm not a humanitarian. I'm not standing here being I'm doing all of this shit for you, I'd still get financial return. People are just people. The punch that you don't see coming is the one that convinces you that they're not there for the money. And then you're like, wow, this one's so different. I'm here for the money as well. Everyone is. Like, if I didn't pay money, I wouldn't be on here. I'm not doing shit for no reason. Everyone is. Everyone has a strategy for things that they do. And it's the punch that you don't see coming that really fucks and knocks you out, because you're like, wow, I thought this one was different. Everyone's the same. Women is another. I see exactly what it is that I want. Like, I'm projecting my idea of who this person is on them. And some people will walk in it while it benefits them, but then eventually they're like, you didn't know me at all. People are just people. Like, that's just the saying of it. I know some content creators and things like that, they can convince people that just because they have money that they're not trying to make money, but then they're also charging expensive amounts for their products. But don't fall into any of that crap. I'm always going to get mine, as I'm going to give to get it, but I'm never going to do shit for no reason, as to such that you shouldn't either. And just realize that people are just people. If you're like really infatuated by a person, you don't know them. Like, you don't. The saying of don't meet your heroes, have you ever heard that? Because then you realize that they're just people. Like, if we were to spend 24 hours together, you would be like, Steven's a person. Because I am. I have my own struggles and shit that I'm going through as well. Yes, I have a lot of money and I have a lot of things that I'm good at, but I still can be difficult. I would say that I'm quite eccentric. So again, it's the saying of, I would love for you guys to meet your heroes, because I've met a lot of influencers. I know fucking tons of them. And I don't consider really any of them my friends. Because a lot of the stuff, when you don't see them, you realize it's just the stunt. Like, it's marketing. You're watching a shtick and you don't realize that it's a shtick until you spend time around them and you're like, this was a shtick. A lot of them don't even do any of the shit that they tell you. I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that. And then you see them and it's the first thing that they are actually doing. That's the saying, don't meet your heroes, is true. Like, for real. You're going to most times be disappointed if you meet people off the internet, because again, you're only seeing a curated personality. Like, you're only seeing pieces. You don't see the full person. And again, if you can't see the full person or see them as they are, it's disjointed, because then you don't see that it's attainable, what it is that I have. My money is attainable. Being good with girls is attainable. My social stuff is attainable. My content, it's all attainable for you. It's just attainable through, essentially, I believe, a path of individualization, but you can have it as well. So don't idolize qualities and be like, I could never do that, because it's very likely that you actually can. But that's both freeing and freeing and puts the ball in your court. That's the way it should be. You always have to see people as they are, because you'll find if you can't see people as they are, it's very probably going to be very hard for you to see you as you are. And that's more important. The fucking Sun Tzu saying of he who knows himself will win half the battles, but he who knows himself and his enemy will win most. But knowing yourself is much more important, because you know yourself, and the more that you know yourself, you see the shit in others. Again, like, you realize when you know yourself, a lot of this circle and things that you have around you actually begun with you. A lot of the people around you, you've brought into your life to try and understand who you are. But you need to fucking figure yourself out sitting alone in isolation, where it's just you and God. Because when you're observed, you're not going to have the same process. But then you'll find that as you get to know yourself better, you don't need these people around. I figured myself out. Now suddenly I don't want to text that girl anymore. That toxic connection, I'm not really interested in it anymore. I understand why I was doing that. I've forgiven myself for, some fucking shit from the past that I fucked up. And now I don't really want to be around people that treat me badly. I gave up on that. I let myself go, and it's okay. I look in the mirror and I'm a bit sloppy now. But that's okay, because I've been sloppy before and I know that I can fix it. Life is not a stage of, if you've ever flown a plane, it's not just you're just flying and then you just, it's over. It's a constant trimming and fucking doing a bunch of shit. Like, to keep the thing, you got to fuck around with the nose. It's got to be on certain areas. It's not just, I just sit here and now I'm just completely relaxed. Because you also have other forces like the wind and other things that are trying to move you astray. So you need to recalibrate often. Did you get the process of individualization in prison? Yeah, I started that when I was very young. I started it when I was like probably 15 or 16, because I was a loser. And then I figured out that I didn't want to be a loser. And then I started to do a lot of inner work and things like that. But prison was a big part of it. Prison, the biggest thing for me was I learned to forgive others. And when I realized that I was to forgive others, I learned to forgive myself. because there was a lot of things that I'd done that I was disappointed with, but I had projected it on others. I realized that I was fun to blame other people for shit. I was in prison because of my ex, and she did this and she did that, and it's true. But what did I do? What did I do along the way? I was also a cunt. So I mean, if you're a cunt, often you get the outcomes of a cunt. I deserved everything that I'd gotten, and then when I sat in prison, there was no one to make excuses for anymore. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, there's no one left. Like, it's just me. There's only me left here. I'm the problem. But then I was like, but this is beautiful because I'm also the solution now. The world is not going to affect me. I'm going to start to affect, like, I'm not reacting to reality. Oh, yes, I'm in prison, but I won't always be. But when I get out of prison, I'm going to be much more, I was more free after I'd let go of shit in prison than I was running around with a bunch of bad memories and, regrets. And this is this person's fault. And, this person's bad. And other people are doing all of this shit to fuck me over. But I was also a scumbag. Like, I was cheating on girls. I was selling drugs. I was doing a bunch of bad shit, talking shit about people and punching people or being a problem. So, I mean, what do you get? If you're to shit the world up, best believe that a turd pie is also going to hit you in the face often. It's the truth. Like, again, you're doing things to others, but then you're shitting the world up, but you don't surprise that then you yourself step in shit. But you're also shitting on the fucking street. So that's the problem. Since I started throwing a lot less rubbish down, and I used to just throw rubbish on the street if I wanted to. Now that I don't do it, I don't see as much rubbish on the floor anymore. I see the streets are cleaner wherever I go. It's funny that that's the way that the world is too. Since I stopped watching shows like, I don't know, guys yelling at women and guys watching red pill crap or all of this like crap, or I'm around fuckwits, I don't see it as much in the real world. I don't hang out with trash. I don't sit in kitchens at 5 or 6 a.m. as much as I used to in the past on a bender. All that sort of energy and things like that, it's very dark energy, those ideas. And again, if you like chaos and things, it can be fun to sit in it, but it's a complete waste of time. And again, a lot of people are sitting in kitchens, or they're gambling, or they're eating, and they're just really, they miss a very deep connection. When you see the people that are drinking and they're in the clubs and they're at 4 or 5 a.m. and they're the ones that don't want to go home, they don't want to go home because they don't want to face themselves. They want someone there to get them. They crave a deep connection, but they don't know how to get it. So then they only get a connection with substances, drugs, drinking, partying, shallow connections. They get they're the one that can overshare with people, and they realize that I don't want to share too much because everyone here is shallow, but they're in the wrong environment. Like, if you're a diamond and you're running around, the diamond is only a diamond if others see it as that. Some other native or someone who's never seen it before might just treat it as a rock and fucking start smashing tent pegs in with it or something. They don't know. It depends what industry or like what field or who you're around. What do they value as? Like, what are they treating you like? But what are you treating yourself like? Some of you guys treat yourself like shit. Most of you, if you're honest with yourselves, again, you only know how to criticize yourself. You don't water the good. You chop yourself down. If you were a tree, you would just be striking yourself with the axe. You wouldn't be watering the little branches of things that you do good. Oh, I went to the gym today. I should go every day, though. Don't think that I did enough. I need to do more. I need to do all of this shit, and I need to do this and that. Someone's told me that they trained 8 hours today. I need to be better. But everything starts small. So you don't celebrate the little wins, and then you're like, but why haven't they turned into big ones? Because it's not fun. It's like that with women as well. If you don't encourage them at a lower end, then it's never going to be fun for them. You have to encourage the behavior that you yourself like, instead of just punishing the behavior that you yourself don't like. It goes both ways. Like, if you have a kid as well, you have to encourage them to do things. You don't just encourage them by telling them when they do the wrong thing, because it doesn't build their self-confidence up much, because they don't know. I do something, I don't hear back, and then I do something wrong, and then I hear back. But I don't really know, because I don't know what's good or bad. The good or bad is in the eye of the beholder. Like, it could be good for the kid. Maybe they're playing or doing shit that they like, and then you tell them to shut up. But it's bad for you. But they're not living for you. So these ideas and things, you have to come to kind of get a level of understanding that they're also their own person. And they have to learn to self-soothe and things like that. Like they have to be able to self-medicate or do those sort of things. Like self-soothe, where they essentially are to like calibrate themselves. They can't just have dad yells at me and then I just wait till he yells at me because they don't know. Again, they're waiting to react to you instead of trying to figure it out themselves. Women are the same. If you have good woman or woman that with or whatever, or that you're conditioning or whatever it is that you're learning each other, or you're enforcing your frame or boundaries or whatever it is. Frame and boundaries are not that you have expectations and essentially things that you yourself will put up with or you won't put up with. But again, she can leave at any time. But that's the best relationship will always exist in that because there's an existence of framework of this. But this framework that a lot of these red pill fucking retards have is I want to do whatever it is that I want. And they can't do whatever it is that I say that they can't do. But I'm doing shit that I know that if she did it, I would be really upset. Anything that you do to a girl visibly, publicly, that will embarrass her in front of others, that's going to be like a 10x multiplier for her being pissed off. I'm dating a chick and then I see that she liked another dude's photo and now other people see it and they laugh at me because everyone knows the same person. That's more embarrassing and DMs are embarrassing versus something else that they probably wouldn't consider. And no one likes to be publicly humiliated. If you correct someone in public in front of people, it hits them much harder than it is to be done in private. You have your girl and then you're in a group of table of people and you call her a retard. It's going to hit much harder for her than it would be to have her at home and be like, that was dumb. Because now they have their ego attached to it. And they also just know their standing is going to drop. And other girls and things like that are going to be like, oh, I don't like how he talks to you. But again, understand that this idea that if anyone ever corrects you or treats you poorly in public in front of people, you have to handle it publicly. It's a power dynamics thing. Anything done in public has to be managed publicly because other people will see it and they'll start to mistreat you as well. You have to make it hurt. So then they know that if they're to do that in public again, that you'll embarrass them. Most people's biggest fear is being embarrassed in front of others. And most people, how they hit you is actually exactly how you should hit them back because that's their biggest fear. Again, they've projected their own insecurities onto you. And if you were to hit them back in exactly the same spot that they hit you, it's a kill shot. It's the truth of it. Like most of you tell people how to hurt you. Like you'll tell me your biggest fears because you project them out onto others. Some guy will get a chick and be like, delete this guy, or don't follow this guy, or I don't want you to talk to this guy, or don't go to this club if we have a fight. And then as soon as she argues with you, she goes to the club and sucks this guy's cock because you've told her how to hurt you. Like that's obvious. I learn it as well. Just listen to what people do or what they say. People tell them themselves, you learn what it is that will kill them, kill them inside. And then essentially if you're to decide whether to do it or not. I don't do it because I know that I don't need to. I don't need to punish people because the best punishment for people is silence because most people are dying inside anyway. Most people's biggest punishment is that they live a long life. As not a martyr or anything, you just give them no energy because they don't get their final burst that they want. This guy, like, what's his name? Batman, the Joker guy. What is he? The fucking guy, the Cape Crusader. What is his name? The guy that he does the content online and he was beaten up by the black dudes or whatever in the past and now he does content or whatever. He's begging to die a martyr. See, that's sort of an idea. And I don't disagree with it as he says. He has some great points. But he won't die a martyr. He'll never get the martyr's death that he himself would like to justify his position. He'll die an old, angry, bitter old man. That's the nature of it. Like, that's the biggest punishment. Like, that those people or those groups or things like that, they won't make a martyr out of someone like that. They let them die in silence. The world ends not with a crack, but with a whimper for people like that. The crack is what they crave. I want an ending that essentially makes it poetic. Like, I was right. See, they had to censor me. But it ends with a whimper that maybe I was wrong. And that's the beauty of it. Like, that's the thing that's the thing that's gangster. That's the smart thing. Yes, most people can't stand the silence of their own company. It's true, right? Because most of the things, again, it's internal. That's why it's not fun, though. Like when I pump out groups or I bring out Breaking Free or I bring out group exercises in TCM, they're not fun. Because there's no games. Like there's no, I teach you an exercise and you stand there and you look in the mirror and tell yourself how great you are 10 times and then you turn around and everything works, because it's not like that. I'm 300 pounds, but I'm the man. And, I stand in the mirror and tell everyone I'm the big boss. This shit doesn't work. Because it's not true. Your subconscious is fucking, you cannot lie to it. Deception is one thing. You're deceiving the world could be one thing, but self-deception is a completely different kettle of fish again. It's the punch you don't see coming that knocks you out. And if you have massive blind spots, then you're going to be knocked out again and again and again by life. Do you know how many guys I know that are rich and then they're just shit with women? They project constantly. They think that, if they're bad with women at all, they try to use money as bait. And then they get nothing but gold diggers, and then they complain that all women are gold diggers. That's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's the only bait they have, and then their whole Instagram is just posting how much money they have and a bunch of other bullshit. I'm a millionaire, and I'm doing all of this shit. I don't know why I only get chicks that are interested in money, and I have so much substance for some reason. If you're just flexing online endlessly, then you're only going to get the exact mirror of you. Most people are shallow. Most people, like, getting a watch is easy. Getting a Rolex is easy. Getting a fucking Lambo is easy compared to mastering yourself. One pays dividends forever. And the irony is that eventually when you start to master yourself, you don't need the stuff anymore. You don't. Like, you want it less and less. I have my Lambo here. I've got a Lambo and a GT3 here. I haven't driven any of them in, like, I've been here for weeks. I wear a nice watch, but I wear it mostly because I already own fucking 10 of them. But again, a lot of that stuff, like, that's doing the karmic cycle. I didn't have it when I was a kid, so now I have it. But when you see guys like Zuckerberg and things like that, they don't care about watches because essentially they've gone through all of that. You often have to have it and go through it, but to realize it's not important. Some guys, it's like, I have to bang 10 chicks or 20 or 50, whatever it is. But then by the time you do that, you'll kind of be like, it wasn't as important as I wanted. Some people will be able to recover from that. Some will be stuck in that for their whole life. Because how you are in a relationship is extremely different to meeting a girl and that being a fuckboy. Being a fuckboy, it's your business. If you want to just have fun and things like that, it's you to determine. But if you're used to new pussy all of the time, having a relationship is going to be very hard for you. Relationships are work. And a lot of people, when they're conditioned to that, is I learn this girl. I'm on a date with her. I'm on Tinder. I have my go-to lines. I meet her. I wear a mask. Who does she want me to be? I bang her. Now I can't keep this mask up much longer. I'll just go on to the next one. I get a slot machine. I crank it. And then I see what comes up. I crank it again. Will the next one come exactly correct? But it doesn't work like that. You create women. You create women, but you have to know what it is that you want. What are you looking for? Are you honest with yourself? Like, you say that you want a traditional girl, and I want this girl because, I want this, and then you fuck her and kick her out. A lot of guys fantasize about having a traditional girl and don't realize a lot of them are boring. Boring is fucking how relationships can be. If you're used to, like, I'm used to going to the club and picking up new pussy every weekend and all of this, having a relationship will be boring. But it's just because your neurotransmitters are resetting. It's like anything, like, I don't know, if you've been a cokehead or you've been fucking gambling or something like that, a lot of things are boring now. Like, someone will run out and tell me they've had the most exciting night or something that they've had, and I'm just like, oh, this is like, I used to have nights like this on a fucking Monday during the day. Because I've had a lot of excitement. I was in prison. I've been fucking in a gangster life. I've been selling drugs for years before that. I've been in the army. I've had near deaths, many of them. I've had girls, fucking 5 chicks at a time. So when people turn around and they're like, oh, I've done this or that, it's their best things is boring. So you have to come to those sort of terms and things. There's certain bridges, if you are to cross them, nothing will ever feel the same. If you're used to having benders for 24 hours a day and then you're like, oh, I'm in the gym, it's not going to ever feel the same. There's certain things that you're to cross and they don't really go back to normal entirely, but they do still go back to where you can get enjoyment and things like that. But again, it's a sign that you need to find enjoyment elsewhere. Enjoyment has to become substance-based, like something that actually is, something that there's character attached to it. Not just, I could, climb a mountain and get the beautiful view and have a friend along with me and we can talk and we can have an experience, or I can just go an 8 ball of Coke and just smash it in one day. I mean, one can also bring the same high, but one is a high that was just fleeting. It's artificial. Another is an experience that when you're older, you're going to look back on and be like, that was good. I enjoyed that. Your Coke bender, you're not going to remember that unless something specifically happened at that time, but it's not going to be a thing. It's 11:20. The best feeling is actually becoming the person you want to instead of telling yourself who you want to be and dealing with imposter syndrome. It's true, right? Because you're reacting. You watch something or someone and you're reacting, you're trying to wear a mask or you're trying to perfect a mask, but everything built on deception, even if that is self-deception, will be knocked over. You will be destroyed again and again until you become who you're meant to be. You will see yourself a million times with a million faces throughout your life. It's the truth. You'll bump into yourself again and again and again with a different mask. You bump into yourself with others as well. Some people, they don't like other people that are around them because they remind them of themselves. They're hiding from a part of themselves and they meet someone and they're like, I hate this guy for some reason. And then later on, as they get a bit more older, they're like, I didn't like that guy because he reminded me of me. Certain things that he was doing are things that I don't like that I do about myself. You have to just come to the realizations also, but empathy trumps all. Like you have to have understanding of yourself, but again, you have to master yourself. Mastery is not in the boxing gym, although it's an attribute of having something of character, but it's not. Again, it's not found there. It's a part of it, but it's not found there. There's no. You just bench 100 kilos and now you're a man. It's not for me to tell you if you're a man or not, but again, you want to be your own man. You want to have yourself figured out. Why do I do things? Like, what are my goals? Like, what's my agenda? Why am I unhappy or why am I happy? Like, why do I do things? And, if people say that I hurt them, is there merit there? Am I a cunt to chicks? Why do I have no friends? Am I not a friend? Like, historically, am I misunderstood or am I, in fact, not a friend? What have I done to friends? Like, have I been a good one or a shit one? Have I, do I only exist to provide cash to women or friends? People ask me for shit. The only time people talk to me is to ask me for stuff. I don't feel like I'm, lovable, so therefore I have to pay people to be around. These are common things and things that you have to face within yourself. I don't know the answer to them. You have to realize it within. But these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Why don't I have what I want? Like, really? It's not the fucking, it's not the Jews. It's not all of this shit, although it might be a part of the fucking issue. But it's not only that. What is it to be a friend? To be a friend is someone who's essentially you're caring, you're there for them. Sometimes it means to lose. A good friend is someone who can take the back seat while another will win from time to time. You pass the ball to them and they run all of the way to the end, and essentially you might be the blocker and you take the hit so that the quarterback can run all of the way to the end of the field. They get the touchdown, they do the backflip, everyone cheers for them. You're in the mud, but it wasn't possible without you. They would have been tackled and crushed. You made that possible. You have to find your part of life, like your part of the story. Both are valuable, like both have their air, but you need the quarterback to essentially notice what it is that you've done. And some people don't. That's the beauty and that's the irony of things is that you can make a king and many of them will. The old saying of the king needs to be careful when he bends down because some of the ones he's helping actually want his head. And that's true. That's just this fucking very true of life. Some people that you help actually want your position. They don't, but they also don't want it to have it. They want it because they don't want you to have it. It's a dangerous thing. If you want to have it with money as well, you want to lose a friend and gain an enemy, loan them money. It's the truth of it. Yes, a friend is love, though, right? I mean, to be beyond that, you're someone that you choose. A good friend could be argued to be as much as family, if not more, because it's someone that you've chosen. You don't have to have the friends around. Like you can tell them to get fucked if you want. But someone that you choose every day, whereas family is family. It's not a choice that you made. There'll always be family, whereas your friend every single day, it's to be determined whether they stay your friend or not. So really it's more like, it's more official really. Because you don't have any tie to them. Like you can wake up one day and be like, actually, I'm sick of them. I don't want to see them again. But family, I mean, you'll always have the same last name. They'll likely always circulate, or at least you'll hear about them. So it's different. How do you know if you have good friends close to you? I mean, if you ask that question, you probably don't. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the waters of the Royum. It's probably true. How do you know if you have good friends? Yeah, I mean, but you probably don't under such an idea, unfortunately. Having a good friend is not these value exchange things that a lot of these fucking dweebs run around. Like Dubai is a big thing. Everyone has to have massive value. If I'm to hang out with them, I just want to get something. I only hang around people if they pay me. I only hang around people if they buy shit. I only hang around with people if they, something to gain. Friends is not that. How do you know a friend is authentic? You can tell others he's my best friend. Probably true. But a lot of people also, I've had a lot of people say that they're my best friend that are fuckwits. So you have to. It's merit based. Also, friendship is that you don't owe them shit. Like if you want to turn around and be like, I don't want to be this person's friend anymore. That's it. You don't have to sit there and fucking explain to them all of the time and sit there and cry about it or whatever. There are certain things where if people move against you, you're a fool to stay their friend. If someone betrays you as a friend, they move against you, you're a fool to take them back because they'll betray you again. You best believe that. There's nothing that you can do also. Like even if you beat the shit out of them, it will come about later. If they move against you intentionally, it's a big problem. If they do it by mistake, it's because sometimes you can. Like sometimes they might say something in the moment to you, and that's not moving against you. Moving against you is deception. Moving against you is not we're in the same room and I tell you that you're a fuckwit. A friend can do that because we're in the same room together. It's not, they're not lying. They're not trying to make me look bad. They said it to my face. It's one thing. But then to say it in private, you're not there, and then they start telling people that you shit that's bad about you or even exaggerating things. They're trying to make you look bad. They don't care about you because often they won't even confront you, but they'll try to damage your reputation. And also, you can't be friends if someone that you're friends with is a pussy. You can't be friends with cowards. Like you can't be friends with that because anyone can make them buckle. Being a pussy and being unable to fight are different. Like I've known guys that can't fight for shit that have massive hearts, and I've known guys that are in the fight gym that have the heart of a pea. Like there's a lot of guys that essentially snitch in places like that. You can't tell. It's like the saying of the soldiers and things like that, where there'd be a war, and then they would be surprised to find that the guy who was fucking kicking heads in is like some fucking little dweeb. Because you don't know what a person has in them until those sort of times come about. Are you the type of person to keep a secret? Like if I tell you this, but this remains between us. Depends on what the secret is. It depends on what the secret is. If the secret is itself something that I think is disgusting, I won't keep it. Like this saying of like, if someone told me that they were doing stuff that I believed that shit the world up and I didn't agree with, I would move against them, even if they were my friend. If my friend told me that he date raped a chick or something like that, I would move against him quickly. I don't believe in like, there are certain things that you can do where I myself don't care if you're my fucking dad. I'm not going to keep it forward. I won't toe the line of someone that's destroying the world. It's the same thing. So that's the thing itself. But I wouldn't run around and tell people. I would just handle it myself. And I have before. I've confronted people that are famous because they've done things that I don't agree with, and I've lost friends over it heaps of times. I've confronted people that I could have been on massive podcasts and things like that, and then I disagree with the person, and then I don't go on the podcast because I don't care. It's just things that I don't agree with. And they can disagree with me, and that's fine as well. I don't have that stuff to do with. Yeah, I saw the Luke Belmont lawsuit. He's a good marketer, and he has a palatable message. I don't understand it all. To be fair, when he speaks, I don't get it. But I don't know. He's got an audience, so he's got a bigger audience than me. He's palatable though. He knows how to deliver a message. His brother is a bit of a fucking zesty one, but yeah, it's cool that there he's in the gym, and then I guess good for him. I saw he did something on Bali. Actually, I watched a clip, and he was talking about how Bali's demonic or disturbed out there, and there's a lot of dark entities, and I believe that he's right. Anywhere that there's a bunch of like natural disasters, or it seems condemned by God, it's risky to be there. Like historically, I mean, you look on the map, a lot of those places, like Haiti, Bali, Costa Rica, there's a lot of places that are fucking like condemned, right? Like God himself is like, I'm smashing this place with like tsunamis, fucking cyclones, floods, fucking massively bad events, places where there were often, at least in the past, historically, to be determined, human sacrifices and things like that. And now they get punished because it's like that energy sticks around and they're still being smashed from the shit from the past. So then you go to a place like Bali that's a dump. Half the year it's raining, it's flooding, it's a shithole. And then you turn around and you're like, I'm surprised that there's like, a lot of weird entities around. There's a lot of idol worship, and there's a lot of weird shit going on over there. There's a lot of these shaman retreats and things like that. And if you ever do ayahuasca, you have to be very careful who you do that shit with, because I think that there would be a lot of people abusing people. like in those things. Like someone goes over there, and a lot of that stuff is the saying of the shepherd, the wolf. Oh, so what's the story? The shepherd convinces the sheep to be wary of the wolf, only to consume them. He's the one that eats them. That's the saying. That's the saying of shaman. It's a lot of that stuff is true. I'm the cult leader to save you from a problem that I myself created, and now I'm actually feeding on you. That's the saying. Our war room members that got the vax still had side effects. I'm not sure. I don't. I would be surprised if they got it. I don't. I don't believe so. I don't know though. Even Jamaica recently is getting crushed by Hurricane Melissa. Yeah, I mean, good luck to those people. But I think that it's all as it's meant to be, right? It sucks if you're on the wrong end of it, but that's just the way that it goes. It's not for me to determine and be like, that's bad or that's good. I hope that they survive it. Everyone has their own trials and tribulations. It's not for me to sit there and be like, if someone told me tomorrow and said, Stephen, you can stop this cyclone, I don't think that I would do it. It's not. It's not for me to determine what it is that happens, even if that was the cyclone that would theoretically take me in. It's not for me to determine that. That's not. I'm not the one that created the experience. It's outside of my control, right? Again, people try to control too many things. One thing, it can be bad, but we don't understand the whole picture of everything here. Everyone has their own tribulations and trials and shit that they're going through. You realize that you're in your own lane. You're walking through a lane, and the more that you divert to try and, you're worried about what others are doing, and you're like, I need to keep picking up all of these people. And like some people you pick up because that you want to help them because they're actually trying. But then you realize some of the ones you pick up were fucking just like lazing on the ground and they don't want to do anything. And then you yourself are like, wow, I'm really tired. It'd be nice if, I've helped you for the last 10 kilometers. Do you want to help me for the last 50 meters? And they're like, no, I don't want to help you at all. You got to help the ones essentially going to help you. But a lot of people, again, you can be dragging bodies along and they're not meant to be there. And then you just get really tired and it burns you out. And they weren't meant to come along for the ride. Some others where you were meant to help and things, and that's okay. But some aren't meant to come for the ride. And again, this idea, remember I say this red pill idea is if you're giving them to others, that's not a good thing. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. Yeah, I mean, it's to be determined if people are leaning on your territory and then essentially what it is that you would do. But I don't think that a cyclone or a natural disaster is to be determined to be evil. It's different, obviously, if someone's, trying to imprison you or things like that. And I would believe that you would resist. But, natural disasters and things like that, it's to be determined. But I would never, like, someone's like, you can go over and do all of this, like, relief work or shit like that. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to. I don't feel like it's my calling. I don't want to. But I also, if I was to donate to charity and things like that, I only donate to kids' charities. I don't believe in donating to charities of adults. So that's a big part of it. I believe in donating to kids because they don't have a chance. I know that some adults and things have had a shit dealt deck and things like that, but that's not my problem. With kids, it's my problem because, again, it's the saying of that's the future of people. They still have a chance. Like if someone's 40 years old, they've been homeless for 30 years and all, I can't do shit about that. But if someone's, 12 years old, they have more of a chance. It's not their fault. Something along the line, that person, they might have a mental health problem or drugs or all of that crap, but they still had somewhat of a chance. Kids haven't had a chance. Like some of them are just born into a home that their dad just punches them in the face every day. Some of them are born into a home they get like sexually abused at like fucking 10 years old. And then it fucks them up for a long period of time. It's like they didn't choose to be born into that. So I have more empathy for them than I would for someone who's older. And then I obviously see down the pipe and see that is the stage one of the final stage of the homeless person who's 50 years old. They often have a very sad story. But by the time they're at the latest stage, you can't really do much for them. Of course, there are some that you can help, but you're not going to get the same ROI. Versus still helping them when they're younger. I would like that, obviously, when my groups and things get bigger, I'll run an orphanage. I don't know which one. But I believe that I'll start one before 2030. That's always been a big goal of mine. I don't know which country I'll build one in, but I will build one. And I don't know how many, maybe like 30 or 40 or 50 kids or something year round. See, if I was to be richer again, I would donate a lot of that shit. Like for kids, I mean, my budget would be endless. Because you can, I like the idea of helping from a distance. I wouldn't want to go there and hang out with them or anything like that. But I like the idea of helping them from the distance. Like it's kind of selfless. With kids and shit like that, it's just helping the next self. Like they still have a chance to be kind of anything that they would want. And there's a lot of kids who are forgotten, like in the world. Like you would be amazed to go through some of these countries, like probably Ukraine, Eastern Europe, and a lot of people, like the kids, the dad just didn't come home from the war. The dad went to get milk, or like literally went to get bread and milk, and he was chucked in a van and butchered on the front line. They're waiting for their dad to come home, and they're never even going to get a text or a message to know where he is. They think that he left them. They don't know shit. A lot of that stuff is disgusting because it's often their own people that are doing that shit to them. That stuff country is a complete mess, and it will be a problem that sort of a mentality is to be quite doomed. It's the unknown that hurts the most. You know, you sit there every day and think that someone's going to come back because you don't know where they are, and they're not going to know. Like a lot of the people in the front line, they'll never even know where they went. They just disappeared. Someone's kid or someone was playing a football game or doing something and they just vanished. The recruitment trucks just come and pick them up and just chuck the whole team in the car and then throw them in the front line, and they just got blown up straight away. And there's no, like, they don't even know who they are. They didn't even take their IDs and shit. They just needed bodies to throw in the Mensa. It's disgusting when it's your own people. It's crazy. It's such a crazy idea. But yeah, that's the story of life. But all that stuff should make you realize how grateful you should be to have a body and a mind that you're not pushed into a Mensa like that. But again, that's their process. Like, it's not for you to say that that's to be wrong. It's their life. Yeah, you don't understand it. But again, it's your comparison of one state of being to another. Like you're comparing your life sitting on your ass to their life. Machiavellianism, it has its use case, specifically with women, because the devil's what gets them wet. It's true. Like you have to be able to put both sides in. That's like you have to be able to incorporate your shadow. You're not going to keep a chick if you can't have at least a tad of the dark sides, the triad sides as well, because that's what gets them wet. It's again drawing on the emotionality. And how you do it is to be determined of what levels and what scale you can use yourself, but you're going to need all of it. I'm saying that again, if you get a girl and she's got a very low body count from the church or from this or trad or good, you're going to need much less. Like you're baking a cake and you've got a pretty pure recipe. Whereas if you've got one and she's been to the club a few times, she's been there, you're dealing with less of a pure recipe. Like you're going to have to overwrite shit from the past. You're going to have to become a dopamine dealer. If dopamine is this, so you have a rubber band and it stretches, and this is dopamine, which can be club, can be drinking, can be partying, can be vaping, can be Tinder. It's stretched, and then to put it back that she lets that stuff go, but the rubber band is never the same. And the further that it's stretched, the more likely it's going to stretch again. But you essentially have to become the one that stretches it. Women, if you're not creating the drama, will create it themselves. How much level of drama that you are to create is to be determined on how much it has happened from her past, but retrocausality is very real. It's very determined with women. Earthquake theory is true. You know, essentially that's her stability. And if you make it unstable in a moment, that's the thing that you can always pull back on. It's addictive. Like that stuff is addictive because their emotions, they feel 10x what you do. So their emotions are what gets them wet and interested and excited. It's not something to understand. Like you can't understand what makes women wet. Like if you've ever listened to things that they read and the stories and things that they like, the porn searches and shit that they look for, you wouldn't understand. A lot of that stuff is different. A lot of the Ukrainians fragging when they get sent out. I don't know what fragging means. You mean getting blown up? I would believe probably true. But that's a big part of it. So that's probably enough for today, lads. So in general, yeah, Breaking Free is launched. I'll be putting a lot more of my Telegram stuff on there because at least it's not going to get fucking pulled off. Like they're not going to ban it and then suddenly they delete my whole channel. So Breaking Free, you guys join it if you want to be in there. I'll be in there as well. It's $40 a month, so it's cheaper. But it's up to you if you join it. I'll still be doing these lives and things like that. I'm not going to leave you guys behind if you're fucking broke or you don't have any money. I'll still do live streams on here, so I'll still talk to you guys. And yeah, if you want to support the channel, jump in there. And other than that, I'll see you guys soon. So I'll be doing more lives and things like that. And I know that my lives are going to be different. Like I know the stuff that I talk about is different. I'm happy to talk about. Maybe I'll start doing them more structured. Do like, you know, money or women or whatever it is that you want to talk about. I can bring women on here and fucking talk to them if you guys want to hear what it is that they have to say. Not freaks that talk about fucking being on OnlyFans and shit like that, but actually just normal ones. that want to talk and say what it is that they're up to and what it is that they like. But understand when women talk, I don't want to be disrespectful to women, but they don't really know what they want. Women know what they like, but they don't know what makes them wet. Like they don't like to talk about it. Because again, if you're reading certain dating content and things like that, you don't want to tell women that you're studying. Women don't want to give the game away. Like if you're talking to a girl, you don't want to tell her that you're partially putting things on to, get an outcome. And they also don't want to tell you kind of how the game is to be played because you also might judge them. Judgment is very shit with women. You judge one, you lose the girl in front of you, even if she's traditional. They don't like that. They don't like it. 50 Shades of Grey, yeah, that's right. That's a big one. Women like all of that stuff. Women like the idea, the fantasy. Like they like a palatable image of who you are. They like the caricature a lot. They like the story. Like the story of who you are gets them wet versus who you are. It's the story. The story is important. It all starts with your Instagram. That's why it all starts like the story that you're projecting into the world. Do you have a story? What image are you pushing out? One of the images that people push out is just I have cash. And then they're just upset that chicks only just want to attach to their wallet. I mean, that's pretty normal. They need to see a caricature. That's a big part of it with one. Something that they can palate. All right, lads. I'll talk to you soon. As always, till next time. Cheers, lads.